Fascinating.
So in this video, I'll just give you a quick introduction to material parameter collection. So if we come down to the left here and come to materials and create a material parameter collection, NPC demo, just for naming purposes. Okay, so if we double click into that, you'll see that we have the potential to add scalar parameters, so floats, numbers with decimal points, and vector parameters. So RGB alpha. It's really geared up to driving parameters in materials, although it's not kind of exclusively locked into that. You can get parameter values in any blueprints. You can use them to do other things. Anyway, let's have a look. So let's start by adding two. So we will add a scalar, which we will call emissive, and just give it a value of 1. And then we will call it material color, and let's just give it something else. We have an emissive with a value of 1 and a sort of lavender lilac. So how can we then go about using that within a material? So let's set up a simple material. Now we'll just work with the kind of default setting, but what we'll do is we'll drag our material parameter collection and now drag it into our material. Then on the left hand side you'll see there's a drop down, so we need two. I'm going to duplicate that. So we'll have one which can be our emissive, which I'm just going to plug straight into that. So remember that was just 1, so that's the kind of default setting anyway. And then we can choose our vector for the color, and let's just apply that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it slightly different because I want to be able to affect the glow of the color. So let's have a look at how our material parameter collection affects our material in editor, but also in real time. So if we now sort of play around with some of these values, we can see that we're affecting the color and the emissive strength in the material that we created. So it's you might, rather than the emissive, you might affect the opacity, so you can kind of fade things in and out, and that's a really good use of material parameter collections as well. Now, one thing that's really powerful is how to tie them in with timelines, for example. Come back to our blueprint. So let's have a look. So let's get a timeline. And this is going to be self, so that it's going to sort of be within parameter. Let's add a couple of, we'll add a float and we'll add an event track. Let's right click and rename that emissive. And this one we will name random color. So we can just click anywhere in here, doesn't matter, it will just trigger on that, on those times, because it's not value dependent, it's just timeline dependent when it is an event graph. But for the emissive we do have control. So let's start with time 0, value 1, so that's our kind of base start. But then let's have a play around and put that one at a value of 20, say. Let me just click those. That just reframes everything based on what you have selected. Let's add another one here and put it at minus 0, really. That's all it needs to be. To fade out the emissive, to turn it to black effectively. Just put That's fine. So that's only really happening over a few seconds. Let me spread those out a bit. Okay, and we will loop it as well, and then come back to the event graph. So here we can, on update, so set scalar parameter value, MPC demo, emissive, and then plug in the emissive. So that will now loop once that plays. But let's do another one. Let's do random color. So random color triggers on those time events. So let's have a look at setting vector parameter value. And again, choose our MPC demo, get the right one. Material color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split that value and then do a random float in range. Just do a 1, 0 on all of those. So basically, whenever the event is triggered, it's just going to randomize the color. So let's have a look. Let's see, now that we've affected those two, let's simulate. So you'll see we're fading in and out, but we're also tripping the random color through the event timeline. So very quickly we're getting a kind of double timeline, unique patterning going on. Okay.
Live long and prosper.